Welcome to another iScaf tutorial. In this tutorial, we will look at some techniques that illustrate how to handle a more complex drawing where the building or industrial structure could step in and out as you go higher in elevation. An important aspect of generating a good design is to plan your drawing and understand where you want the scaffold to position. Here we have a set of drawings for a medium-sized commercial job. These could have been emailed or sent through a cloud service, so make sure the file plans are saved to a folder on the C drive before starting. Let's go View, Rotate View clockwise, since our PDF viewer opened the drawing with a sideways orientation. When we look from bottom to top, we see the building steps in as we go further up. Let's look at some of these grid lines. We can zoom in a bit closer and scroll down. Now here we have level 8, so let's scroll to the right. And we see that level 8 has these balconies that protrude out in elevation. As we go further down and scroll back towards the left, we see that we have level 4 here, which steps further out. So based on this information, we could probably sit some scaffold right here on this level and start it around this level further down here. So to plan this, we would like the scaffold around the full perimeter to full height, but we need it to step in at the upper level, continuing up but still joined to the lower scaffold. Let's have a look at the other elevation. So let's actually look at level 4. We can see that we have the plan there, and that's the east side that we want to look at more carefully. And then we have a level 8 drawing which shows the stepping in. So we have these plans, and they could have actually been one single drawing or PDF that we bring in one page at a time, or they can be separate drawings or PDFs that we can use. So we make sure these are saved in a particular folder. Remember, it's important to have this set of drawings of the building, which could be received by email or received via a cloud service such as Dropbox. Either way, you need to make sure that the PDF files or the converted TIFF files are saved to a logical folder on your C drive or network, preferably in the same folder as your iScaf drawings. So from here we're going to bring in the PDF files and start using them. So we click on the PDF icon on our toolbar, and we go to our commercial folder and we select our section GG. Select the file and bring it in. So what we need to do initially is to scale it. So this tutorial does assume that we have some existing knowledge and experience in iScaf, and that bringing in a PDF file is already a familiar process. So we've clicked on Insert PDF, and the first thing we do is zoom into a dimension line and scale it. So zoom into an area, click on the first point, click on the second point as accurately as possible, and then type in the dimension line. So in this case it's 3000 millimeters. So that is now to scale, and we're just going to clip the image. So here is our elevation drawing. Now we need to rotate this, so we click on the rotate button, click on the drawing, right click to finish that selection, select the base point, now type in the rotation angle. So we want to rotate this clockwise 90 degrees. That means we type in negative 90 degrees to do the rotation. So there we have it. There is our elevation. So we're going to bring in some other PDF files, but before we do that, let's just measure some distances here. We would like some scaffold to sit around that area, so we want to measure the distance from here to about here. First point, second point. So we look at the bottom of the screen. Of course, iScaf is available in imperial and metric measurements, and in this case we can see the distance is about 17.5 meters. So we can plan to have the scaffold go to, say, about 18 meters up to about here. And then let's measure the distance from there all the way to the top. So we measure distance again, and let's go from here all the way to the very top. Just scroll up to the very top, measure that distance, click on there, and we can see where the mouse was. It said about 44 meters. Okay, so what we're going to do in terms of planning this is to build some scaffold from, say, 0 to 18 meters. So we want to overshoot a little bit, and we want the scaffold to be joined and step in. Therefore going from about 17 meters all the way up to about 47 meters. So that's how we'll plan that. Now we're going to bring in the level 8 floor plan. So we'll move our elevation out of the way. So we click on there, elevation, and perform a move. Just move that out of the way. Okay, so now we're going to click on the PDF file again. So we go to our folder. And we're going to select our level 8 and bring this in. Again, we need to scale it. Now what's important is we're going to be bringing in floor plans from different levels. We need a reference point that is common to both drawings. What we see here is a grid line, A1. So we want to make sure we keep that in the drawing. Let's continue to scale this. So here we can see a distance of 12.144 meters. So from there to there is 12144 millimeters. So that is now to scale. Now we have an opportunity to clip this image. So we're going to make sure that we keep this grid line A1 in the drawing. Let's zoom out a bit and we'll perform a little bit of a trim there. And in the same way as before, we'll rotate this 90 degrees. Rotate and type in -90. So there is our level 8 floor plan, and we're going to move this out of the way as well. So click on move and just pick that up and move that further over to the right here. So we're in the plan layer at the moment, which is yellow, and we're going to trace around that. So let's go and draw this line, making sure we follow the line very carefully. Now we're only going to scaffold for the purpose of speeding up the tutorial to illustrate the point here. So we're going to trace around just the east elevation. So we're just going to focus on the scaffold on this side of the building. So we click on the line and we're going to force the system to have straight lines by clicking on the ortho button. And now we trace around this building. So we're zooming and panning. And carefully going around the perimeter of this building. That's pretty good. So now we just press enter to finish. The elevation we looked at was called elevation GG. So we can see there that this is the G line right here. So that's a good reference point. Okay, the technique we're about to show is a method that works for handling such floor plans. As you get more experienced, you may modify this technique. Let's go to grid line A1. We will mark this by clicking on line again. Let's turn off ortho and create a cross to mark this A1 point. So that's our A1 reference point. Okay, so now we're going to bring in level 4 in exactly the same way. So we select our folder. Then click on level 4. So we can see that same grid line there. It's always good to pick a longer distance to make it more accurate. So that is now to scale, and we're going to trim this. Again, we're going to make sure that grid line A1 clearly remains on the drawing. There we have it. So we'll rotate this again. And -90 means clockwise 90 degrees, so we zoom into that. Okay, now we're going to continue tracing the outline. So click on line, force the lines to be straight by clicking on ortho. And let's just start from this point here. Pan by holding down the mouse wheel. Keep clicking, then press enter to finish that off. So that's our parameter for level 4 completed, and it's now next to the parameter for level 8.